So, shall we start now?
Hello.
Yeah. Shall we start?
Hello. Ms. Vidya, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to.
Hello, Ms. Vidya.
Yes, I'm able to hear you. Shall we start?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I, on behalf of Department of BCom CS, welcome one and all present here for today's webinar, jointly organized by the IQAC and Department of BCom Corporate Secretaryship of Shri Krishnaswamy College for Women. Throughout our life, we'll be learning how to deal with people, why should we interact with them, what is the learning we can get from them, and so on. After the graduation, we would be investing approximately 50 to 60 percentage of our awake time in work atmosphere, might be as an employer, an employee. There is a saying that when people go to work, they shouldn't have to leave their hearts at home. To make this possible, we need someone to take care of us in work environment also. But in what way and how? To know more about that, we have Ms.Priyanka here to provide a lecture on why should I know about HRM. Ms. Priyanka is a freelance trainer who is specialized in human resources, business communication, and soft skill. She is a dedicated and passionate trainer having expertise in the field of human resources. She possessed years of corporate experience working as HR executive. She had thrived in fast-paced companies like HP, DXC Technologies, CAT Center, and ITC Grand Chola. She has been a highly motivated corporate trainer for 7 years about theories and methods used in designing, developing, and delivering successful training programs in soft skill recruitment, business communication, sales training modules, engagement, and orientation. She has also collaborated cross-functionally to deliver superior performance results. She has also an international exposure via visiting business schools and industries in France, Netherlands, and Belgium. He has attended and presented papers in national and international conferences and conducted workshops in corporates as well as in many colleges across the city. We are indeed very much happy to welcome you, Ms. Priyanka. Over to Ms. Priyanka now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vidya. That was such a warm welcome. And hello, students. Let me share my screen first. Okay. So here we have this question: why should I know what is HRM? So first of all, hi everyone. Good morning, and I'm really very happy talking to you guys. So I had a very good introduction from Ms. Vidya. So to be very brief, I'm a HR consultant and a freelance soft skill trainer. So I've been informed today that I'm addressing students from different departments and specializations, all basically into commerce. So, students, I assure you, you'll have a lot of takeaways from today's seminar. Especially, you'll understand what exactly HRM is all about. So, whether it is going to be your career choice or not, you will just understand what this HRM is all about and why I should know about HRM, even if that is not going to be my career choice. So, by the end of the session, the key takeaways will be: why should I know about HRM as a student? Why should I know about HRM as an employee? Why should I know about HRM as an entrepreneur? So, you'll have the answer to all these by the end of the session. Okay. So, since you all are from commerce background, I'm sure in your 11th and 12th you had taken the commerce stream, and not to miss the students who have taken science in joint BCom, you guys would have come across this chapter in your first year in BCom or in your 11th and 12th commerce book, this chapter about HRM, right? So talking about the fundamentals, or the basics of HRM. For sure, you would have studied about it. But the question is, have you ever wondered, why am I studying HRM in my commerce textbook? Okay, so let's look at the reason. Right in the first chapter of your commerce, you would have studied about these five M's of management. So if you can recollect what those five M's were, you can see very well on the screen that I've shared right now. I hope you are able to see it, right? Okay, so yes. So it is men, material, machine, method, and money. So each of these elements, if you see, if you are doing a business, each of these elements have a very significant meaning to your business. And out of these five, I'm sure that you will agree that the men element has its control over the rest of it, because everything else, machine, material, method, or money, it is all handled by this fifth M, which is men. So, yes, we are arriving at the importance of men element to a business, which ultimately turns out to be the human resource. And to manage this human resource becomes human resource management. Well, I have given many seminars and I have conducted workshops to many students and corporate employees during my training sessions as an HR. And during those sessions, I've always asked people one question when it came to the topic HR. I usually ask them, what do you think about HR? And of course, the student's perspective and an employee's perspective differs a lot. But there are few students who have called out the answer saying HRM is all about managing people. Very well. So generic, and but it is true. HRM is all about managing people. And there are few others who say human resource management is just like any other management department, like say sales management, marketing management, or financial management. I've got these kind of answers. And there are other studious set of people, studious set of students. um, Even in your class you have this, the first benchers who have the answers for everything. They sort of step ahead and they narrate the definition of HRM. They say it is about selecting the right people, training them, handling payroll, handling the trade union, and so on and so forth. They're bringing all the functions of HRM. So you have this variety of definitions when it comes to HRM. Let's now not get into those definitions. No book answers of HRM. I'm sure you would have had enough lectures in your college on what your book says. And now let us discuss today on something very practical, so that today's decision will be, very helpful for your career. Of course, all the things that you have studied in your book, your lectures, whatever they have taught you in your classes, those are the result of years of study and research in HRM. And those sure need to be executed while you are in job. But let us see the execution part on how practically, those theories that you have studied applies when you are on job. Okay, now let's think of two scenarios. Okay, first, let me talk about a scenario. Now, I want you guys to do some imagination work. Okay, just switch on the audiovisual mode of your mind and imagine that you have completed your undergraduation. Okay, I see lot of people who are, you know, typing good morning in your chat messages. I just want to pick a name from that. We have this Pavi L. Okay, L Pavitra. So now L Pavitra is imagining that she has finished BCom, flying colors. You've got A plus performance report, and you have passed in distinction, and you are a graduate. Now, what is the next step? You have two options: either to work for a reputed concern, it comes along with your campus placement. You finish your UG, you approach your professors, and the college approaches you and they say that these are the A-listed companies that are coming over to a college and recruiting people. So you attend the campus interview and you want to get through the top companies, or you want to go work in a company where you have this references, or you have other modes of joining a company. Yes. So you want to join a reputed concern. Finally, that is your first option. What is your second option? It is your starting your own business. So let us discuss the second option sometime later. The first option is to start your work in a reputed concern. Let us now assume that as a commerce student, you want to take up your job as an accountant, or a tax consultant, or even as a junior auditor. So, you being an executive in the accounts department, now you may ask me, well, I am going to join as an executive in the accounts department. Do I still need to go on and listen to the seminar on HRM? Well, the answer is yes, of course. To understand the reason, you might want to understand this diagram that you see on your screen. Okay, I think the diagram has not come yet. Okay, there is this diagram of HRM process. Yes, it's there on your screen. So now let's continue this imagination of yours. Okay, now El Pavitra. So now you want to become an accounts executive. So you approach an organization. Who do you think will be your first point of interaction? You got the answer. It is going to be an HR. So you try and contact that company and you finally get an answering voice and you say, I saw this job opening in a job portal, like say Naukri.com, and I'm looking for a job. And I feel I'm qualified. Who can I talk to? The answer will be, hold on, sir or ma'am, we will connect you to the HR department, right? So there comes your interaction with the HR, the recruitment team. Now you enter here where you see the diamond, the diamond box where it says recruitment. So the HRM process starts from then on. The HR talks to you and moves you from recruitment point to the selection point by conducting many interviews. So again, it is the HR to whom you have to first convince that you are the right candidate for the advertised job. And once the HR approves of you as a suitable candidate, they forward your profile to the department head. Here, the HR, what the HR does is they actually take off the burden off from the management in the early stages of recruitment process. That is, they filter down applicants. There are lots of applications that just comes and posts inside an organization once there is a job opening that is announced. So this filtration process is done in recruitment department, the HR department. So you being an applicant for an executive accounts enter through this department called recruitment. So as a new employee, you have completed the recruitment process, you have been selected, you got your job. So now you get into your department. Now you will have lots of training to be done. If you can follow this flow chart that I have displayed, you can see first it's recruitment, then it's selection, and then it is training, right? So which will include both your non-technical training and your technical training. Your non-technical training might include your orientation, your induction into the company. You have to know all about the company and all the required basics that will groom you into an employee from being a student. So now you are a student. You want to become a professional person. So that grooming process takes place in this training process that happens after your selection. So your non-technical training will also include on how to dress up, how to communicate, and all the soft skill part comes in. Whereas your your technical training, where you'll have to learn about the particulars and the details on your accounting, even that. is overseen by the HR personnel. So after your training is over, your department head is going to assess your performance. So they do not just look at your performance and come to a conclusion on your high percentage. What they do, they assess and send the result to the HR department. So even if you are going to be an executive accountant, you will have to be walking down to the HR department asking whether your probation is confirmed or your hike is confirmed, right? So it is the HR department which uses various HR tools and methods to understand the department head's recommendation and fix the hike percentage. So again, it is the HR department which decides on the kind of rewards and benefits that you need to receive, including the various insurance and health packages. And they fix the salary amount of yours when it comes to a manufacturing industry. They will have to deal with the laborers who depend on the HR for any issues related to labor and trade union. If you can see, I'm just walking you down through this process. We have finished recruitment, selection, training, assessment of performance, motivation using rewards, benefits and recognition, compensation, and now into maintaining labor relations. And then also there are guidelines and laws that are governmental, which are being checked by the HR department again, and the required protection for any employee belonging to just any department, XYZ department, that is going to be taken care by the HR department. So you are going to be constantly in touch with the HR department, and that's one main reason why you need to know what is HRM. So finally, even during your exit from the company, it is the HR department which is going to do the wrapping up job for you. They are going to do the full and final settlement on your salary, your PF, and other stuffs. And when the situation requires, they also answer calls from your next company on your background verification. Right? So all these things are being done by HR in your company. So trust me, guys, in my career as an HR, I have seen employees walking down to the HR department not knowing what their benefit packages are as an employee, what are the leave allowances, what are the other insurance policies that they are covered under, and what are all the other unknown benefits. They just simply do not know. And by just knowing the importance of HR department in an organization, an employee can ensure that he avails all the benefits and makes his stay at workplace as happy as possible. So now, there has always been a question on the roles that an HR plays in an organization. You have seen the various roles that I just mentioned, giving your salary or training you or recruiting you. The question is, why can't all this be done by managers themselves? The answer to that is a big no. Well, it's quite not possible. How do we say so? Look at this, if you look at the industry around us, everywhere, you can see consultancies, even in this picture that I have displayed. This is all about HR consultancies. We have consultancies for recruitment, for training, for payroll and compliance, for performance related consultants. There are lots of consultancies. There are business analysts. So, what do all these businesses show? It simply shows that the whole of HR process that we have seen just now in the process of HR that L. Pavitra had traveled through, that cannot be executed by just any in an organization, even if it is going to be the specific department head. Let me give you an example to understand this. Okay, so have you heard of this term lately called the talent crunch? Today, we can see that businesses are all growing, which means that the number of people working for the business to grows, and more number of people requires that recruitment department of the HRM department works for a longer time looking for the right candidate. Guys, I really want you to give an extra attention to this concept called talent crunch, because knowingly or unknowingly, we all are involved in this particular phrase today. This is happening currently, both in India and around us in the world. Okay. So, what happens during this talent crunch is when the HR is looking for people for the organization. Okay. It simply means that the HR is looking for fresh talents to be brought inside the organization. Every year, we have lots of graduates graduating out from colleges. And of course, talking about India, we simply need not comment about it because we are already booming with a lot of people, population, where we have lots and lots of graduates who are looking for job, which means in the market we have overwhelmingly innumerable talented resources, which again makes the filtration process very difficult during the recruitment and selection in an organization. It simply becomes a tough job. So, now where does this term talent crunch fit in? Just think of the scenario, okay? So, now you come across this job opening for an executive accountant and you feel you are possessing all the required qualification. Let's take another name now. Recently got Ramya Madhu, who has been messaging. Okay, so Ramya has, feels that she is a very good accountant. She is qualified for a job that is advertised. So you apply for the interview and you are there at the office. When you've been called to the office inside, you step inside, you see almost 20 others just like you sitting out there, and the interview process starts. The HR calls one by one. Each candidate goes in and comes out. Just think of the HR situation. Okay, because there is a position open for a little while in the in the organization, there is some kind of a work stagnation. This work is not happening. There is no one to do the job for that designation. And because of this lack of doing the work stagnation, there is negativity in the productivity of the department. That amounts to loss for the company. This scenario puts a lot of pressure on the HR to finalize the candidate for the position. So the department head simply calls up the HR. He says, "No, uh, Priyanka, I don't know what you'll do. I just need this resource, this position to be filled in." Okay. So after what Priyanka does is she interviews the first candidate, and I feel that the first candidate is not qualified, and I'm not satisfied. And then I move on to the second candidate, which turns out to be same. This keeps continuing till almost say 15 candidates, and all the candidates turn out to be the same. I feel they are not qualified. And Ramya, being the 16th candidate, Ramya feels that somehow she is a very deserving candidate in comparison with the rest of the 15 who have already attended the interview. But what does Priyanka do? I simply select the 15th candidate just because I've got a lot of work on my platter and I cannot afford to waste time in the selection process. So I just need to, adjust with whatever resource I'm getting. And I cannot afford to lose more time on interviewing the 16th candidate who might actually be the real asset for the organization. Do you see the reason why the HR simply failed to tap the right resource? In olden days, there was unemployment when our fathers and probably their fathers also found it difficult to get a job just because there were actually not much of job openings. Whereas now, if you open any job portal, be it Naukri, Monster Job, Indeed, Career Builder, so on and so forth, there are actually lots of job portals and filled with lots of jobs. And still, we find it difficult to get placed in the right position in the right company. It's because of the heavy load of competing candidates who may or may not be really qualified for the advertised skill sets. So this scenario is simply called as talent crunch. And situations like this calls for research and specialization in the field of human resources management. Now, guys, I have mentioned just one scenario from one discipline of the HR department, which is recruitment. Recruitment's one challenge is talent crunch. There are many more challenges as the world is becoming digitalized with the changing trends, with the information era and whatnot that we are living in. We have lots and lots of challenges in HRM, and this by itself gives you a good reason to consider HRM as your career choice. So, as a student, you need to know about HRM to consider and explore the many opportunities that you have in this field. So far we were discussing about these students who want to become an executive in accountant department, and the reason why they need to know about HR. Now, the reason why a student who wants to who's searching for a job in HRM needs to know is because they can explore the many opportunities they have in HRM. There is this misconception in industry about what HRs actually do. HR is actually different in different companies. Usually if you ask people might say, oh, those HR guys, they keep walking around the office, they order things and they say this has to be like this has to be like that. They have lots of things to say, and they are very easy, cool, they don't have much work. So all these are say some misconception. But if you ask me, as a person who is experienced uh, a HR corporate job, I would say the role of an HR is different depending on the companies. So it's different in different companies. So in a startup, it's different. In a medium-sized organization, it's different. In a huge MNC, it's different. I am happy that I got to work with these different types of companies. I have also worked with a startup as a consultant. I have worked in a medium-sized organization with about, say, 500 to 600 employees. And I've also worked for huge MNCs, international companies in the HR department, where you have actually separate departments of HRM. I mean, each stream becomes big different departments. Like recruitment, we have a very huge department where across internationally there are more than 500 people working just under recruitment, and just under payroll you have lots of people working. So each stream you can see many people working. So now for the ones who are interested to make their career in HRM, uh, really start giving a serious thought to it. If you ask me, I am just having a great time in my career choosing HRM. You have quite a lot of role to play as an HR. HRs are called as business partners for the top management. It's simply because we have the power to influence the decisions of the top management. We are called business partners because we take part in the actual decision making of a business. We play a very important role when an organization is formulating strategies, when it is going to change the way it is going to do things. It means that it is going to have different ways of doing things. There comes the need of training, and so the HR manager, they take active participation in discussing with the top management on the way the strategies can be accomplished through the existing human resource, or how these business goals can be accomplished by accommodating more human resource, whether the strategies can be altered as per the existing human resource. All this is done by HRM, right? We have the option to work as a consultant, as an experienced personnel, working for a medium-sized company for about, say, again, 500 to 600 employees. Working for it was a great learning experience for me, if you ask me, where I got to talk with various levels of designation in my office. I get to interact closely with even the managing director of my company, which helped me see the helicopter view of the company's missions. So, the power of mediation in between the employees and the management It gives you altogether a different package of skill sets and reputation. Think of this, you are dealing with someone's career, and it's not just someone, it's going to be the whole of people who are working for that organization, which makes you very responsible and answerable. How satisfying it is when an employee gets their issues sorted out. If you ask me, I can just keep talking about how you can adore your work as an HR and enjoy this career. That will become another 1 hour of seminar, so we'll do it sometime later if possible. So now getting back to the point, I would like to just highlight the various designations and the hierarchy of how HR positions work out for any organization. Right. So if you could see in this slide, okay, the picture I have shared already, but I think it's taking its time. Yes. Now in this slide, if you could see, there is there are different designations. The director in HRM, and then manager personnel. Personnel actually means how you are handling people. So it starts with HRP, which is human resource planning, hiring, grievances handling. Grievances handling is basically to do with there are these HR executives who particularly deal with the problems and queries and concerns of the employees. So I was given the opportunity to work under grievances handling when people, they come up to you and ask you, I have not got this, salary for this month, or there was some problem with my incentive package, or I do not have this ID card which I'm supposed to wear. All these are simply a few of the queries that you may get working under grievances handling. And compensation, yes, it is about the payroll. The payroll system is being handled by the HR and manager in administration. Coming to the administration, you have public relations to handle as an executive, the canteen, the medical, the welfare of employees, the transport, and other legal compliances. All these things related to the journey of employees inside an organization, right from an employee enters inside the organization till he is going to leave the organization. It is you as an HR personnel who is going to take care of it. And then we have this HRD, human resource development, where you work with performance appraisal. You assess the employee's performance, and you every organization has its own tool of appraising its employees. So you work on those tools and you fix the hikes. And then there is training and development. You conduct training need analysis to find out what are the lacks of where an employee needs to develop. And then there is this manager in IR, industrial relations, that is more into a manufacturing setup. So these are all the various career option that you have in HR department. That, well, to actually talk about the career options, that's again another topic where I can give you the various designations and the ladder in which an HR actually climbs. So earlier, when HR remained as a personnel management in early times, the responsibility of HR department, say for example, 20 to 30 years back, it was just to care about things like whether the employees are paid properly, to take care of their attendance, to check how much of salary they are receiving. These are still part of HR functions, but back then, those were the only things that was of concern. So today it is different. Now HRM is slowly moving towards innovation. They have advancement in technology. There is globalization happening. So there are lots of softwares that HR uses, be it in payroll or training, just anywhere, even in the exit process. So HR professionals are researching on the various opportunities that they can explore. So today, if you are going to look for a job in HR, you cannot just go through the interview and click the interview with just your language skills. Back then it was fine, but today you have lots of advancements in HR, and HR has started using a lot of technology, software applications, and there is technical need for HRs too. So I hope the students who want to take HR as their career option might have got a picture of why and what are the options available for them to take up HR as their profession. So now let's move on to people who say they want to open up a business. Do you need to know about HRM as an entrepreneur? You might say that's just going to be one of the departments in my business. That too, probably in future when my business grows, not while I'm starting up my company. If you ask me, okay, I just hold on until I hope I open the chat option. Yes, I've got this person called Shiva Shakti. Okay, Shiva Shakti. So Shiva Shakti is going to open up a business in the future. She's going to say open a retail store. So now she's asking me, do I really know about HRM? Do I really need to know about HRM? Well, the answer is yes, because let me show you a real life example for how a company was banned from the country itself just because they did not have proper HRM practices. It's not just any company that you do not know, it is a company that you very well know and you have also used its services. Yes, it is Uber. Well, this news that you see on the screen, it was from CNBC. It was the talk of the town in November 2019 when London had banned its services just because the drivers who were hired, they seemed to be not fit and particularly not safe. This was because there were no proper HR practices that were followed by the Uber company. So their recruitment practices were not good enough. There was no proper background verification done during the hiring, and there were even few drivers hired who were having history of criminal offenses. So the background verification was just overlooked and they were just ignored, which caused this mistake. This led to court issues and petitions for the company to close down and stop operations throughout the country. And yes, of course, after a year's time, they have again, reworked on the petitions. They have fought their case, and they are, restructuring their business, and they're again back in London. But now, do you see the criticality of the situation, which actually required that the need for HR practices, even though it was a startup. So the people who were involved to hire the drivers, they were not qualified enough in the field of HRM. They failed to follow the HRM practices. A simple HR consultant would have stopped them from incurring this huge loss, right? So let us take a brief look at statistics. It says 23% of small business fail because they don't have the right team. I hope you are able to see the screen. Okay, so it's according to according to the statistics, there are 23% of the startups who fail, and it is because they don't have the right team. If you could see in many of the startups, the problem is when it turns out to be a family business. Most of them start business with the help of family and friends. So this type of scenario will let the business struggle with the preferential treatment that might be expected when it comes to hiring and promotions, which means it just simply means that responsibility is given to someone who actually has not proven that they can do this job. Especially in our country, you would have come across these people who are doing family business, who start a business with their family members and friends. So, here in this kind of an atmosphere, it means that relationships are formed and it is hard to make decisions based on a person's ability. So small businesses that ignore good HR practices, they will have to suffer. They may have a good number of team members, they will love them as humans, but it might not sound good from a business point of view. In view of the productivity and results perspective. So there comes the need for a HR consultant for even a startup. So if there is this HR advisor who's recruited, they can identify the person who's making the best contribution in the company. They can identify the bottleneck who's not performing, and they give their results according to which the business can go on. If you can see the second statistics in this slide, it says 82 percentage of small business they fail because they experience cash flow problems. So suddenly, there are few startups that they feel that they are bankrupt. They do not have enough cash flow. How does HR play his role in this kind of a situation? Okay, let's think these businesses. If you just give it a thought, they shut down and feel that they do not have enough cash flow when the sales go low, or they are not able to make proper payroll, or when there is this customer who's upset and the organization that they want to sue the company in the court, and there are legal fines and fees due to legal non-compliance. When the law is missed out, then you'll have to pay a huge amount of money to the government. So all these kinds of situations, if you could see, this could have been avoided if at all there was a HR advisor or a consultant. Sales training could have been arranged. A proper payroll plan could have been drafted by the HR, or HR could have simply seen the problematic area. They can foresee things, and when the customer wants to sue the organization, the HR can do its best to face things legally. And again, because the responsibilities of legal formalities are there, again the compliance things, and everything related to statutory compliance, all these things need to be followed by business, and this needs an HR expertise. So all these problems with an HR, they could have easily reduced its overhead and ensure that the business stays safe, right? So I hope you know this gentleman in the picture. I have shared the screen with you guys. I hope you are able to see the screen, because in the live streaming that I am following up, I'm not able to see the screen, so I'll have to wait till it comes up. Yes, I think you're able to see the screen now. Okay, this gentleman is Thomas J. Watson. He has served as the chairman and CEO of International Business Machines (IBM). So, being the CEO of a company, you must have gone through all the roles and responsibilities of a CEO, and he says that you can get capital and erect a building, but it takes people to build your business. So as a CEO, he has got the helicopter view of the company, and there he says the truth. It takes people to build a business. There are many business leaders who have had great plans, strategies. They have beautiful business plans, but at times they fail utterly. You know why? Because they actually do not grasp the full meaning and importance of human resource management. Their plans in documents may work out, but execution of those plans need to be done by humans. And only by handling those humans properly in a particular fashion that is already studied and researched about throughout many years, only by handling HR in a particular fashion, an established fashion, can the execution be done as per plans, and this leads to a successful business. So the theories and articles in HRM are simply abundant, and that's because of the need for it. Only when we realize this, we can rightfully prioritize HRM, both in our career and in our business. So nowadays there are lots of terms used for human resources, lots of alternatives like human capital, intellectual assets, talent management. Why is that so? Why why is all this, importance and stress given uh, to human resources? It is because being an entrepreneur, whatever business that you're doing, people just come everywhere in and around your business. Students, you might be having lots of assignments and projects given to you by your professors, but I personally suggest that you take up this assignment. Okay, there is this small assignment that I want to give you. Each of you can try this approach. Uh, uh, you can try talking to an entrepreneur who's actually running a startup. Okay, just go and talk to a businessman. Try and ask to spare some time with you. Prepare a preset list of questions about the business and the challenges he may be facing, or the challenges he's facing, particularly with the human resources involved in his business. So each of these entrepreneurs, they will be having a document which is called a business plan document. It will give you an overview of everything about the business, about their existing competition, about what their business actually deals with, about the products and services, features that they're having, their rates, their revenue statements, their credibility, their organizational chart, where you can see the framework of HRM very neatly set up. So when you go through it, you'll understand, no matter what you are dealing with in your business, which part of business that you're dealing with, you will make a lot of um, lot of decisions. Being an entrepreneur, you'll have to figure out where you need to set up your plant location, where you need to um, change, whether you need to change the design of your product, what should be the design of your new product. You want to come out with a new business strategy, or you want to develop a cost cash structure, and all these kinds of decision making. It uh, it plays places a lot of issues. All these decision making situation becomes an issue to your business, and each of this business issue, whether you believe it or not, will ultimately become people issue. Because if you're going to decide where you need to set up your business, you need to find out where you'll find laborers, human resources that you're looking for your business, whether you'll be easily able to access the HR, the kind of talent that you're looking for, or if it is going to be a new product. Do you have the personnel, the employees who have the talent and training to make that new design possible? Or you can even invite suggestions from those employees and laborers, um, and even suggestions for formulating new business strategies. And when it comes to human resources placement, you want to try your new things with the kind of people that you're having, a new training in your new strategy, right? There comes again the role of people in your organization. If you want to develop a cash structure, then it means that it will have impact on the salary that you're going to pay to your personnel, the rewards and monetary motivations that you have planned. And so you are going to be dealing with people, and you are going to have to do it. You do not have another choice. You have to deal with people. So at the heart of your business, whatever business you are going to do, you need people, and the right kind of people with the right kind of skills, the right kind of motivation that you're looking for, and the right kind of opportunities that these people who are going to face all the issues along with you in the business. What are the challenges, whatever challenges that may come across in your business? These people are the ones who are going to work along with you, and it is going to be a teamwork to achieve the business success, right? So the essence of business management is to manage variety of people who are going to be hired by you. You are not just going to work with robots who are going to be just one and the same, and they are going to mechanically work for you on whatever job description that you have given to them. No, They are going to be different personalities. You can see in this slide that I've shared. So, your business success depends on your strength in handling these various kinds of personalities in your business, in directing them towards your common goal, and in understanding the psychology of these kind of personalities, and leading them to where both you want to go and where they want to be. So, this is all about business. So, students, I hope this seminar was helpful to you in understanding why you actually need to know about HRM. So, be it to whatever department you belong to, whatever business that you want to do. I'm very happy that I could share some of your insights with you. Lots of questions might raise in your mind, like what are the steps I need to take to become an HR professional from the point of life that I am in right now, or what are the skills that I need to develop to become an HR professional, or as an entrepreneur, what are the HRM plans that I can start drafting right away at this particular time? So these are just very few questions that I mentioned right now. So in case you want to know the answer for all these questions, you can approach your lecturers, or we can even have many sections in the future if possible. So thank you, students, for listening to me so long.
Thank you, Ms. Priyanka. It was a very useful session. Now the students can ask any doubts. If you can post your doubts or any questions to be asked, you can just post your questions in the chat box. We'll wait for some time.
All are just sending thank you
Thank you.
messages.
Yeah.
Thank you, students. It was actually nice to stay connected with students after a little while. I was actually into corporate and talking to many corporates, and now very happy talking to students, especially after this COVID-19 situation. Also, students, I would also like to mention this. You are in a very good, position where you can do a lot of research as commerce students, because this COVID-19, this situation was it was a very big pandemic, of course, but it has given us time to think and revise our existing strategies that we are following in companies. So this work from home facilities that every company is offering right now, this has actually placed us with a lot of new challenges. Actually, there were many HRs who got, who contacted with me during this COVID-19 situation on various challenges during this COVID-19. So you can make, separate projects and make a study on the different situations that's arising, and you can do a little bit research on it. Yes, we have a question from Reshma. To become HR, what post graduation you need to do? There are many post graduations, Reshma, uh, particularly MSc in human resources. Actually, MSc is like, we usually do not have people doing MSc in human resources, but now it is yes possible. And we have MA in HRM, and very importantly, we have MBA in HRM. Okay, so doing MBA in HRM will give you an added advantage of understanding both entrepreneurship and HR. So actually speaking, we have this nowadays there is this topic which is called uh, employing your entrepreneurial skills as an HR. So that's again a different topic. You can for sure research on all those topics, and yeah, to become an HR, it is MBA which will be the right choice. I would also suggest you guys to, do some internships when you are free. Just approach any organization and try taking up internships, so that the earlier you start your career, the more experience you will be getting. You will have an experience of how the corporate culture works, and that will be very helpful to you. Yes. Any other questions? So students, next time for your whatever lectures you'll be having in the future, I suggest that you prepare questions, okay? Because that will be a nice way of um, taking in knowledge from, because um, you get to meet people who have corporate experience during lectures of these kind, during these kind of seminars. So you can actually take in more knowledge on what's actually happening on the floor in the corporate platform. What's happening, you can get to know by interacting with us. So next time, I'm sure that. Uh, okay, I've got this question from Divya. Is doing MBA in HRM enough to become a HR? Well, as I said, yes, MBA in HRM is the educational qualification required to become an HR. More than this educational qualification, I would for sure suggest you to develop more skills. And as we have seen in today's seminar, there are lots of technical qualification, softwares like SAP and all, that will help you to understand HR from a technical perspective. So for that, you need to work as an intern in companies and try to understand what's actually happening in the corporate platform. So try doing it, Divya. Thank you, Kaushik.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I was um, providing good insights to you.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Priyanka, for your wonderful session. We'll now move on to the vote of thanks. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. I take immense pleasure to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Department of BCom CS, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to guest speaker Ms. Priyanka for gracefully accepting the invitation to share her views on HR. Really, it was an eye-opening and wonderful session which was focused on HR process, policies, and most importantly, the talent crunch which the students should know in the current scenario, and how to consider HR as a career path, and more about the entrepreneurship. I'm very sure that students would be benefited from your lecture. Thank you, Ms. Priyanka. I would like to thank the management, Dean Dr. R. Revati, and Principal Dr. R. Geetarani for their support in organization of the webinar. I immensely thank our head of the department, Dr. J. Sabita, for her guidance and extending in-depth support for the overall organization of the webinar. Thank you, ma'am. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for taking part in the webinar and making the webinar a great success. Once again, thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Priyanka. So the students now can fill up the feedback form. It's been posted in the chat box.
Students, if you have any doubts later, also you can just type it out in the comment box. If possible, I'll just look at your doubts and questions, and I can even reply to you.
Yes, Ms. Priyanka, we shall leave the session now. So yes,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you a lot.
Thank you so much, Ms. Vidya. Bye.